long as I have known him. First time I interviewed him was on the transcontinental telephone when I was with KABC in Los Angeles, and he was just gaining notoriety as the founder and leader of the Jewish Defense League here in New York. And then some months later, I interviewed him at another radio station in the Midtown Manhattan studio. Over the years, I've interviewed him not only here in New York, but on 2 different occasions in Israel. As a matter of fact, I tell the story about bumping into him at King Solomon's Western Wall in Jerusalem. And it seems like a tailor-made story. Who is he? You've already, sure, gathered. Meir Kahane. Meir Kahane, you look extremely serene sitting there. I always find it difficult to put the Meir Kahane who sits here together with the Meir Kahane I keep reading about and hearing about. Teddy Kollek calls you a horrible person. Other individuals, Abba Eban, says he wishes you would have stayed in America and all. Are you still giving people fits over there?
Bob, on the day that Abba Eban or Teddy Kollek would praise me, I would sit down and rethink my ways. And you should know very, very well that when liberals say something's bad, you can be darn sure it's pretty good. So, yes, I give them fits. It's about time that someone gave them fits, because if someone didn't give them fits, they would drive Israel down the same terrible, terrible path that I see this, country going. Every time I come back here, I sit, I want to cry. Such a great, great country. Nobody can defeat it from the outside, just from the inside. And boy, do you have people on the inside ready to take this country right down. Terrible.
Tell us more about that. Maybe we can learn something.
Well, I think that there's something terrible about, I think that liberals are born with a genetic sense of guilt. Incredible. They feel guilty about everything. They feel guilty about living. They feel guilty about winning. It's better to be a winner than a loser, believe me. It's better to live than die. And where in the world did we ever come with this immoral morality that says it's better that we should die than kill bad guys? Where do you find that? Not in the Bible. It isn't biblical. It isn't logical. That's what I see happening here. I just spoke at Hofstra. Good kids. But they're messed up.
In what way?
They don't realize that national pride is a positive thing. That nationalism is a good thing. They don't realize that there's something important that transcends living. That there are ideals and goals. I come here from a country in which every youngster at the age of 18 goes in for 3 years in the Army and serves after that 40 days every year until the age of 55. And I come here and I see kids who don't want to even register for their draft. If you live if you're blessed, and believe me, on this earth in which there's some 4+ billion people, if you're blessed living in that small, shrinking area of the world of freedom, you've got to pay for it. And you should get down on your hands and knees and pay for it and say, dear God, I'll pay for it because it's worth it. And people don't realize that. They're sitting and talking about Reagan isn't ready to sit down with Gorbachev. You sit down with Gorbachev, check your pockets, check your pants. What are you talking about? They don't want peace. They want to do away with weapons, nuclear weapons. Margaret Thatcher spoke. Great speech. If there would be no nuclear weapons tomorrow, the Russians would be sitting in ABC and NBC and CBS. In Israel, when this whole story broke with this fellow that, told our secrets, the atomic secrets, I thought that was the greatest thing that ever happened. In fact, I'm still not sure that the government of Israel didn't take him and say, tell him.
You're talking about an Israeli who was in trouble in Israel because he has made the statement that Israel has atomic weapons.
I would give him a medal. Let the Arabs know, of course. And let the Russians know. And let the bad guys know that It's not better to be red than dead, but more to the point, if you think that we're going to be dead, you're going to be dead too. The only reason why the Russians have sat quietly by is because America has weapons, nuclear weapons. Can't people realize that?
You know, you talk with such obvious, genuine affection about this country. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, why did you leave?
Bob, because I'm a Jew, a religious Jew. And no matter how you cut it, fry it, slice it. In Judaism, there is a mitzvah, a commandment to live in the Jewish state. But in no way, I mean, I think that this is a great, great country. I find it incredible that people don't realize that. To me, it's an obligation, a religious one for every Jew to live in Israel. But that in no way, that's not because this isn't a good country. God forbid.
But when you come here, you just expressed a deep, deep feeling. And yet, when you come here, I don't hear about you conducting Aliyah sessions.
I certainly do. I mean, the tragic fact is that thanks to the liberal news media, you don't hear much of me, period. You know that in Israel, I'm not allowed to appear on state radio or state TV. I haven't been on state TV and state radio now in almost 23 months. When I come here, I mean, what do you expect a fellow like Mike Wallace, who is lower than the lowest, to say? Or obviously, there are many, many things that I say which would make me look good, and that's why you don't hear about them. The news media in general, and I find this to be an incredible thing, and country after country is in the hands of leftists, liberals. Don't tell me that there aren't talented people on the right out there. Come on, I mean, you know that there are.
Well, yes, I know there are, but I can tell you this, and this is not a cop-out for myself personally, but if you're a conservative, radio is about, and I'm not putting down radio, it's a great medium, always has been, always will be, but if you're a conservative, or if you're not a raving liberal, you can say goodbye to television. You don't get on TV.
Well, I can't believe that there are not conservatives in this country with a lot of money, who will sit down and say, look, this country is going to go down the tubes. And it really will. Because you have a force here, radio, TV. It's an incredible force. It conditions people. I watch some of these apparently innocuous programs, family. Every real value is knocked cleverly, subtly. And we're raising a bunch of youngsters who think upon these real values as being, at best, square, at the very, very worst, bad. I can't believe that there aren't people that don't realize this and pool your money together. What are you saving your money for? What good is money going to be if, God forbid, this country goes under? And don't let anybody tell you it can't go under. Of course it can. Of course it can. And I see it.
Meir Kahane, ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Kahane is with us not only to talk to me, but to talk to you. And who, at one time, the rumor was going around not too long ago that your passport was going to be lifted and you were going to have difficulty in coming back to the United States. What happened?
Well, obviously I'm here. The government has claimed that by sitting in the Knesset, I have now lost, nationality. And I've claimed that there have been any number of past members of Knesset that have been dual citizens. And this country allows a person to be a dual citizen. And the High Court has ruled clearly that one has to specifically make an intent to give it up. I stated quite clearly before taking the oath of office that I want to stay a U.S. citizen. So it's in the courts now, and the fact of the matter is that Golda Meir, as the prime minister, was a dual citizen.
Well, I'll tell you something. If they try to monkey around with you, I will be at the head of the line protesting for a whole host of reasons.
Yes.
One of them being, you have never denounced this country. You have always supported the United States. Your love of this country is very apparent, and yet somebody like Stokely Carmichael, who has said the most vile, wretched lies about this country, not only comes and goes as he chooses, but gets on network television talk shows to sell his incredible garbage.
I mean, Carmichael, he isn't a person, he's a concept. I mean, there are tens of thousands of these people. A Farrakhan. I want to tell you something else. Jesse Jackson. You know, everybody has now, Jackson is okay because there's a Farrakhan around. Jackson is infinitely more dangerous than a Farrakhan. He's a rabble-rouser. He's in the streets in Chicago, and that's about his speed. Jackson is anti-American. Jackson is anti-white. Jackson's a hater, a bigot, a racist of the worst sort. And if he were white, the B'nai B'rith would be birthing all over the place. It's incredible. It isn't a dual standard. It's a triple standard. You're right. You know, if, please God, I would be the Prime Minister of Israel, everyone should know that this country would never have a greater friend than Israel. Because I know, I'm not anti-Soviet because it's good for Israel, it's bad for Israel. The Soviets are an evil, it's an indigenously evil system. And good people, and decent people, and moral people must be against communism. It's not just a question of, well, they're good, they're bad, there are better communists. That's not true. They're just not so. In this world, there is objective good, objective evil. We don't live in some Margaret Mead kind of paradise where, incredible. Well, I found some island where natives eat their mother-in-law, so therefore it isn't necessarily bad or good. Yeah, there is objective evil. And the state of Israel would be a much more Jewish state under Kahane, and in that sense would be a total ally of an America which stands for all of those values which we so dearly love and would even die for.
Let's get to our telephones, and I know you're no stranger to taking telephone calls on the radio. On WABC, Rabbi Meir Kahane is here, and Benjamin, you're there, our first caller for Meir Kahane.
Meir Kahane, please.
How are you?
Yes, you were born in Brooklyn.
Yes, indeed.
I believe in the 1930s or 40s?
1930s.
Okay, fine. And Yasser Arafat was born in Palestine.
Right.
In the 1930s or 40s. Now, what gives you the right to have rights in Palestine, where you can live there and become a first-class citizen, and he can't? What gives you this right?
My grandfather, Abraham.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Well, Meir Kahane, I think you assume that. I think there is overwhelming evidence that the European Jews, which you are one, were converted to Judaism in the 7th century in the Khazar Empire. And there is overwhelming evidence. Rabbis that I talked to all agree reluctantly that this was true. I think your claim to Palestine is wrong. I happen to be black. I was taken from the west coast of Africa. I don't have the right to go back to Nigeria and claim an oil.
You were, just a moment, let me interject here. You were taken from the west coast of Africa?
Yes.
How old are you? About 350 years old?
He talks about Abraham
Well,
5,000 years ago.
that's perfect. That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you're right. You're right when you say that you were because of what happened to your great father.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fella, that's exactly the same reason.
Okay.
Okay, good.
You're not talking to one of your students.
Fella, listen. You're either you're quiet or you're off the air. Okay, now listen. I'm here, and the Jews end up in Europe because the Romans drove them out. Arafat wasn't even a gleam in anybody's eye at that time.
That's your assumption, Rabbi.
Fella, it's my assumption, and what you say is, of course, yours. So clearly, we of course differ.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly won't change your mind. So I'll just end with this statement: whether you think we're Khazars in 7th century and 8th century, we're Jews. We have the country, and eat your heart out.
All right, let's say hello to Menachem. Hello.
Yes, hello, Rabbi Kahane.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering how many seats you anticipate gaining in the Knesset at the next election.
Well, first of all, let me say this, that the Talmud says that after the temple was burned, prophecy has been given to children and to fools. So I'm not young and I'm not a fool. But I can say this to you, we certainly can anticipate some ballpark figure within 10, 11 seats, which would make us the third largest party in the Knesset. But more to the point, the balance of power for any Likud government And that's an important thing. If the Likud wants to form the government, it will have to deal with us. And we have conditions. We have very, very firm ones.
Well, I was wondering also if you could perhaps detail some of the specific programs that you plan to base your campaign upon.
Well, I think that of course, there are many, many, but I think that the two major issues, as I see it, are, and in this order, and it may come as a bit of a surprise that the first one is not the Arab question. I think that the first one for Jews is the Jewish issue. Is Israel going to be a Jewish state or some secularized copy of some Western rock and roll culture?
What is it now? What is it now?
It's a state of Jews, not a Jewish state. There's a tremendous difference. We're beginning to copy some of the worst aspects of the Western sickness. We don't take the good parts. I think it's kind of a natural kind of a thing that the garbage tends to always rise. And so what you see is this tendency, indeed this yearning on the part of young Jews there to come here and live here. We're losing the Judaism part of Zionism. And that's my major, I want the schools of Israel to be Jewish schools, Judaism in those schools. So at the very least, the youngsters will know why it's important for them to risk staying in a country in which there is a threat of war constantly and heavy taxes and all the sacrifices, because there's something special. My second issue is, of course, that of the Arabs. Let me make it quite clear. I don't hate Arabs. I love Jews, and I'm not about to watch my country go under through Arab bullets or Arab babies. So that the Arab birth rate is enormous, and Jews don't have babies. It's abortions for Jews. Another sickness, tragedy, another borrowing of liberal concepts. So that. I want to transfer the Arabs out of Israel with compensation for their property, and let them live in Jordan or in Iraq and Syria. They have a choice of 20 to 22 countries, but I know one thing: that if they're a majority or even a third of the country, there's going to be a Northern Ireland in Israel every day.
Well, all I can say to that, sir, is you should get a tremendous yasher koach for your efforts.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure. I'll hang up now.
Thank you.
WABC Talk Radio time is 3:29. In our WABC studio, Rabbi Meir Kahane, no stranger to listeners, certainly not listeners to this broadcast. Hello, Manny.
Yes, sir. I'd like to address my question to Rabbi Kahane and yourself, if you wish to comment.
Go ahead, Manny.
I'd like to know, Rabbi Kahane, how the recent trading of arms to Iran for hostages has or possibly will jeopardize the peace initiative, since I feel the goal of most decent men is peace in the world. I'd like to know how that affects the security of Israel, the United States, and other Western democracies, sir.
Anything that helps Iran is not good for Jews, for non-Jews, and the world. I can't believe. I'm just hoping it's not true. I'm hoping that it's a Washington Post pipe dream. I'm hoping. But if it is true, I can't understand Reagan. I can't understand that. The man has walked around, and rightly so, and said, you don't talk to terrorists, you don't deal with them, you kill them. That's the proper way. Otherwise, they'll be kidnapping people every second. You don't deal with Iran. Don't you realize that not all men want peace? All men want peace at their price, yes. Well, but their price is an unacceptable price. You don't sell them weapons. It's a tragedy if it's true.
Well, I think Mr. Reagan, Rabbi?
Yeah.
I think Mr. Reagan was under pressure, possibly from some wings or facets of the American public, either the families of the hostages or other political aspirations, to do something about the hostage situation. And I think he took the wrong turn if he indeed did this.
Yeah. Oh, there's no excusing this. There's no excusing this.
I don't know why this was done because, I understand the responsibility of a leader to save the lives of his people.
No, the responsibility of a leader is to his nation. And I don't mean to sound hard-hearted about it, but if we're going to sacrifice the credibility of the nation and the future of the nation over some individuals, then we're in deep trouble.
You feel he's made a serious blunder in that regard?
Did you hear what Rabbi Kahane said?
heard it in-
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Daryl. You're on Talk Radio 77.
Hello, Bob. How you doing?
Well, I'll tell you,
Glad.
so far so good.
I'm glad to have you back.
Thank
I
you.
couldn't take another day of Mr. Fitzsimmons.
Did the program tilt severely to the left while I was gone?
Well, I know. I'll tell you one thing. I caught up on my sleep.
Okay.
Okay, I have a couple questions for Rabbi.
Yes.
Yes, how would you compare the state of New York City economics to Jerusalem?
How would I compare the state of economics?
Well, how is the economics, in Israel? Is it good? Or...
Oh, you mean Israel?
Yes, excuse me.
Okay. I think that there's a great problem in the sense that people think that the economy of Israel has gotten better. You can stop inflation by passing laws that state that if you raise prices, you're going to go to jail. That doesn't stop the inflation per se. What you do there is you stop the price from rising at the expense of business growth. The problem with Israel is that it doesn't have capitalism. No country will ever grow and be more than a beggar with its hand out if there's no free enterprise. You have to go to, if you're in Israel and you want to open a store, you have to get 18,000 permits and licenses on top of those permits. I'm sick of that. Get the government off people's backs. Let people you cut taxes. And if you cut taxes, then people will make money and then they'll pay taxes. You have people fleeing Israel, coming here, working 12 hours a day, people that never worked in Israel. Why? Because if you work hard here, you can save money and you can make money and you can get ahead. I want free enterprise. I want someone who wants to invest in a factory. Invest, leave them alone. Give them 10 years with no taxes. Let them build a factory and give jobs and export and bring in foreign currency. Free enterprise, that is the name. I don't want to throw the Arabs into the sea, just the bureaucrats.
All right, Daryl, thank you very much.
I'd like to know about the rabbinical law on the definition of who is a Jew. Is it based on a racialistic concept, a religious concept? What exactly is it? Can you explain it?
It is part of Judaism, and it's not racist.
Right.
What it says is that a Jew is someone who is born of a Jewish mother, or is a convert according to halacha, according to the Jewish law. Now, you can be a black convert, a green convert, a polka dot convert, and if you convert properly, that is, with an Orthodox rabbi, by Orthodox ritual, by Orthodox law, you are a Jew.
And if you were Prime Minister of Israel, that would be the law of the land.
You had better believe it.
So,
the first day.
Yeah, so what's the stuff about you being a racist?
I have no idea. Don't ask me why others call me racist. Ask them why they call me racist. I think that liberals are the most obscene hypocrites in the entire world. They are ready. These are the biggest phonies, the biggest frauds. They're not liberal. They're liberal until their particular ox has been gored. They are the worst. When I was a youngster, there was this whole furor, this senator, a certain senator from Wisconsin, McCarthyism and McCarthy. The biggest McCarthyites in the entire world are the liberals. They call me racist. A racist is someone who is opposed to someone because of his race per se. I think that all people are equal, but for good and for bad. And if someone is black and he's good, he is as good as any white man who is good. And if he's bad, he is as bad as any white man who is bad. And what's this nonsense about South Africa, which is a racist country? You're right. You think that they are any more racist than any of the black African states? What, are you joking? Show me one white man who is in power in a black state.
Well,
so therefore, I'm not here to back them, to defend them. But what I can't take is the hypocrisy of this incredible attack upon this one country. When who is going to walk around saying boycott Pepsi-Cola because it does business with the Russians? Well, I say that the Russians make the South Africans look like one of the great, beautiful peoples of our time, and they're not. They're not beautiful people. They're not.
Right.
But the Russians are much, much, much worse.
Okay, Stephen, thank you very much. Azram, you're on Talk Radio 77. Hello. Are you there?
Bob?
Yes.
May I speak to Mr. Kahane?
Here I am.
Okay, only to him.
Only to me
Okay.
and only to you. We're now on one-on-one.
What do you say?
We're one-on-one now.
Yeah, okay. Now let's fight.
Yes.
How come you left the United States?
Because it's a great country. And if you live here and don't realize that, one should take a 2-year vacation to Red China or the Soviet Union or some Arab state, which is probably where you're from.
Are you there, Azram?
Yeah, how come you left to Israel?
Because I said that I'm a Jew, because I'm an observant Jew, a religious Jew.
And it's a mitzvah.
And Judaism says it's a mitzvah to live
Now, did you obey
in Eretz
Do you
Israel.
obey this mitzvah?
Pardon?
Do you obey all the mitzvahs? Do you obey this mitzvah?
I certainly try to, yes.
Try. Let me
I,
ask you one more question.
Yes.
Not one more, another question.
Yes.
Now, during the Vietnam War, okay,
yes.
you lived with a non-Jewish girl. Is that true?
No, it's not true.
Beard at that time? Or
No, it's not true.
It's not true?
No.
Okay. Now, you claim that Russia wants to get your head.
That Russia wants to get my head? Russia wants a lot of heads.
Yeah, Kahane and LaRouche, yeah?
What? I'm not sure that
What is
I
this guy
understand.
saying?
What do you say?
He wants my... What? I didn't quite grasp that.
You don't grab what you don't want to hear.
No, I didn't.
Oh, he said
I didn't
Kahane
hear it.
and LaRouche.
Oh, Kahane and LaRouche. Now, what is the connection?
Do you represent all the Jewish people?
Of course not. I represent me. Period.
The Jewish people.
And I would like and I would like the other Jewish leaders to also know that they represent themselves. Period.
I see. But the United States, it's not your place. You got to go up to Israel.
I said that.
That listens to you.
I said that Israel is my country in religious terms. Absolutely so. Right.
Just a point provocateur.
The what?
You're a provocateur. Do you know what that is?
Yes, and if you would say it properly, then others also would know what you were saying.
So well, the same as you make.
A provocateur, right? Is that what you were saying?
What do you say?
Never mind.
Azram, where are you from?
Williamsburg.
Prior to your arrival in Williamsburg.
No place.
Are you a Satmar?
Yes, I am a Satmar. Okay, let it be this way. You want to show you know everything.
No, I don't want to show I know everything. I'm asking. If I knew, I wouldn't ask.
Maybe he's ashamed of it.
Let me hear what Kahane has to say.
Maybe he's ashamed of it. Are you ashamed of it, of being Satmar?
If I'm ashamed? No, I'm not ashamed.
Well, then get up and say it. Say it. Say, God bless Hungary and America. Say it.
God bless America.
And Hungary, too?
God bless America.
Okay, good.
God bless the United States.
Wonderful.
All right, would do me a favor, Azram. Give my regards to Alex Najevitz. Would you give my regards to Alex Najevitz? Oh, he hung up. Well, okay. All right. Reuben, hello.
Hello, Bob. How are you? Shalom, Americana.
Shalom, Reuben.
Baruch Hashem. Bob, I'd like to congratulate you and give you a Yasher Koch, which means
He knows.
very good on having Rabbi Kahane on your show. I think it's a wonderful thing, and because I think it's very disgusting and disgraceful that the Israeli press and media boycott Rabbi Kahane, and I think it shows that America is a true democracy by allowing freedom of speech and freedom of religion.
You know, there were people who accused me of putting the kibosh on Meir Kahane and making him persona non grata. We just haven't gotten together for a couple of years.
I just think you're proving that America is a true democracy by having allowing free speech. And I think that Rabbi Kahane is the greatest Jewish leader since Moses.
Wow, far from that. But let's just,
I am one of your followers and true supporters. And
thank you.
Kol HaKavod, and you will definitely become Prime Minister of Israel.
With God's help.
And one day, I hope you will speak in Yankee Stadium.
I'd rather play in Yankee Stadium, but...
Do you think this guy likes you? All right, Reuben, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Let's say hello to Cinque on Talk Radio 77 with Meir Kahane. Yes, Cinque.
Let me speak to Kahane.
Here it is, Sin. I mean, Q. Is that Mr. Sin Q? Or, I don't get that.
Mohammed.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, Mr. Sin
You don't
Q.
have to be discourteous.
Next time, don't say Kahane, fella, and I won't say Sin Q. Understand? You want to call me Rabbi Kahane? You want to call me Mr. Kahane? You want to call me Mayor? Fine, but not Kahane. Get that clear. Now, what do you have to say?
I have to say that I hope your death comes quickly.
Well, fella, in the meantime, I'm alive, and isn't that great for you?
Now, what is it? Hold it.
Heartburn, right?
No, I wish your death quickly.
Now, Cinque, could you explain
tell me, Cinque. Let's leave aside Kahane, okay? I mean, I'm not here now. Are you pro-Israel? I mean, you think that anybody should be the prime minister of Israel? Do you think that Israel should be?
Do I think Israel should be?
Yeah.
Yes, I think Israel should be for all.
Wait, do you think that Israel should be a Jewish state?
No, not a Jewish state.
Okay, fine. That's, in short, you're an anti-Zionist, right?
No, I'm not an anti-Zionist.
If you're not an anti-Zionist, then I'm a Bulgarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen to me.
Yeah.
You are against Israel per se as a Jewish state. Therefore, anytime someone who is against Israel attacks me, I can only take it as a great compliment.
Mm-hmm. Well, you attacked Jesse Jackson.
I certainly did, and I'll do it again.
Mm-hmm. For the reasons of what? Because he stands up for what he believes?
No, it isn't that. Merely because somebody stands up for what he believes is absolutely meaningless. Hitler stood up for what he believed. Stalin stood up for what he believed. So what? It all depends on what you believe.
Mm.
I think he's a real racist. He's really anti-white. And he's anti-Jewish.
Anti-white.
Oh, boy, is he anti-white.
And you're anti-black, correct?
Not at all. Fella, listen, I couldn't care what you're... Okay, the answer is no, okay? No.
March on with your gutted religion.
What? Well, again.
March on with your Judaism is a gutter.
Did he say gutter religion?
He attempted to say gutter.
As my leader told you, a gutter.
Who's your leader? Hold it.
Minister
Louis
Farrakhan.
Who else? Listen, you tell Louis that anytime Louis would like to visit Israel, I'll take him around and see all of the areas which we Jews have, so he'll have a great vacation.
You used to have.
Yeah.
What did Louis have to do to get the $5 million from Gaddafi?
He got it from a great leader.
A great leader. That's all right. That's okay, fella. We'll take care of both Louis and
we'll take care
and Mumu.
if anything happens to them.
Okay.
And you'll take care of what?
And we'll take care of you if it.
I'm just trembling with fear. I'm just trembling here.
Too.
Okay, Cinque.
That's Cinque.
Cinque.
Don't feel bad about his calling you Kahane. He used to call and say, "Hey, Grant."
Oh, yes. I have a question to ask Rabbi Kahane about our gubernatorial election.
Yes.
Mario Cuomo gave the National Alliance Party credibility and recognition because he wanted to include Lenore.
It's not the, you misnamed it. It's called the New Alliance Party.
The New Alliance Party by including their candidate in the debate. And their party embraces and recognizes and supports Louis Farrakhan. At the same time, in spite of this action, Mario Cuomo still got 82% of the Jewish vote, and I find it very hard to believe. Do you have any opinions?
No, I mean, why in the world you think that's so strange? I remember a very great senator here, Senator Kenneth Keating. I can't imagine a better friend of Israel than Senator Keating. I mean, if there was a Jewish voting rating, something like that, he would have had 103%. He ran against Bobby Kennedy, like the carpetbagger that came in from Massachusetts. Settled in here, a phony kind of residence, ran for senator, and the Jews voted for Kennedy. I thought it was outrageous. I thought it was outrageous. The tragedy is that most Jews tend to be liberal first. And we're going to suffer for it. I don't want Jews to be knee-jerk liberals or think the issues through. Think the issues through. I don't know Cuomo. I don't know about Cuomo, except that I have a gut feeling about him. After I haven't been here now for a long time. I don't think he's a straight person. I don't think he's I think he's the kind of a guy that if this state would have, instead of 3 million Jews, 3 million Arabs, he'd be waving the banner of Islam. So I have that gut feeling, but nothing surprised me about the fact that the Jews voted for Cuomo, because there's an unfortunate tendency to vote liberal Democrat no matter who's running.
All right. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Richard, very quickly, you're on Talk Radio 77. Hello.
Yes, Kahane, or Rabbi Kahane, you skirted over the fact that those weapons that were delivered to Iran were delivered by way of Israel. What do you think about that?
Terrible. terrible if it's true.
What, did you expect him to amend his statement because of the fact that the arms went through Israel?
Terrible. Just as I thought last year and said in the Knesset, that it was terrible that they freed 1,150 murderous wretches of the PLO in exchange for 6 soldiers. Now, I love those 6 soldiers, but we can't talk to terrorists. We can't talk to these people. And the same action done by Israel doesn't make it better.
Okay,
it was a bad thing.
My second question is, what do you think about sanctions against South Africa now that it's law in the United States?
Look, now it's law. So I mean, what I think of it.
Comment on it.
Well, obviously, I am bothered, and let me tell you why I'm bothered quickly. I don't like the South African government. It's a racist government. But do you know who would take over? Do you know who would take over in its place? Do you know who the ANC is?
African National Congress.
That's right. They're anti-American. They're anti-West. They're anti-Israel. Am I crazy? Even if I don't like the South African government, would I be so crazy as to commit suicide by placing inside the UN another powerful enemy of the West? What, am I crazy?
Okay.
Therefore, I don't like this government, but I am opposed to doing anything to bring this present government down, knowing that in its place would be these hoods of the ANC.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, Richard, I thank you. And we're going to prevail upon Mayor Kahane and take not too much arm twisting to stay on with us. A lot of people still want to talk to you. We'll continue with Rabbi Kahane for at least another half hour. Is with us, and we're going to get back to our busy telephone calls on our various lines from New Jersey 489, from everywhere else 212-877 WABC. And Peter, you're on Talk Radio 77 with Mayor Kahane. Go ahead, please.
Hi, good afternoon to you both. I'm interested in Mayor Kahane's reaction to Abba Eban's article in the New York Times on Sunday. Is he familiar with it?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let me just read one sentence, which I think is the nub of it.
Yeah, for the edification of the audience. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah. If Israel were able to disengage safely from the task of ruling the 1.3 million Palestinians in these territories, he refers to Judea, Samaria, and Gaza, it would not only be making a concession to the Palestinian people, it would also be serving its own values and interests.
You know, Abba Eban speaks 12 languages, and in each one he makes no sense. If Israel could disengage itself, well, good morning, if. And if Israel could persuade the Arabs to accept it, and if Israel could, what do you mean if? But we can't do it. How does he expect us to disengage ourselves? Name me one Arab leader who is ready to accept anything less than giving up the total, all of Gaza and Judea and Samaria and East Jerusalem. Name me one moderate Arab. There are none. And secondly, name me one sane Jew who would accept that. We would bring them back to the 67 borders, from which in 67 they were talking about driving the Jews into the sea. The Palestinians don't recognize any difference between a Judea, a Hebron in Judea, and a Tel Aviv. It's the same thing to them. They believe it is Palestine. Now, I understand the Arab. I respect him for that. He isn't a fool. He isn't playing games. He believes that the Jews are thieves. I understand him. So he's wrong, but I understand him. There is no way. Now, I am ready to give up Abba Eban for peace, yes. Yes.
What is your solution to this?
I'm giving up Eban for peace. There is no solution. Only my 3-year-old grandchild thinks that every problem has answers to it. There are some problems that don't have answers to it. So if we have to fight for another 30 years, it's a sad thing, but so be it. Zionism didn't come into being for peace. It came into being for a Jewish state.
Mayor Kahane and Peter, stay on the line. You might want to comment, too. There were some questions raised about this idiotic deal with Iran, and the only justification, although I don't consider it valid justification, but the only justification could be trying to get some of our hostages back. Now, the stated reason for the hostage-taking is this conspiracy between America and Israel to deprive the Palestinians of their rightful homeland. In view of that, In view of that, it is a given that this is so. In view of that, where does it all end? Are we going to see a continuation of the hostage-taking with the stated justification being the deprivation of the Palestinians?
I don't believe that is the issue. So, saying stated that, that doesn't grab me. If there were no Israel, the Iranians, the Shiites, the Muslims would look upon this country as the great devil anyhow. We have a real problem. And the problem is that we're not the Russians. When someone asked the Russian ambassador, what would have happened if the Soviet embassy in Tehran would have been seized? He was silent for about 2 seconds, stared the reporter coldly in the eye, and said, there would have been no Tehran left. If you want to get rid of these miserable, murderous people, you can't be nice. You've got to have car bombs exploding every day in Tehran. It isn't nice? You're right, it isn't nice. We're not dealing with nice people. You want to be nice? You can't win ball games being nice. Not if you're playing with their rules. Terror, fear, cold fear in them. That's what they understand. Moshe Aarons once answered some American Jew who said, why can't we sit down with Arafat with coffee and cake? He said, fella, this is the Middle East, not the Middle West. Well, that's true. It's the Middle East, and all the nice and Americans are nice people, and therefore they don't grasp that there are people out there who aren't nice. Terror, a cold hand. That's what they'll understand. They'll never love America.
All right. Did you want my
at least
on that?
Yeah. Well, I don't want the comment, but maybe Bob does.
What did you say, Peter?
No, I said you asked me for my reaction to that.
Yeah.
Look, I agree in part. I think if you were to resettle all of the Israelis somewhere else, that the Middle East would become actually more bloodier than it is now.
All right, thank you for the call.
Okay.
Oh, hello, Shlomo.
Yes. Hi, Rabbi Kahane.
Yes.
I'd like to ask you, how much influence do the conservative and reform movements have in religious affairs in Israel?
They have very, very little, but they have an enormous weapon in the leftist parties. The leftist parties are their weapon, because certainly not that the leftist parties care about a temple, a conservative temple, but this is their way of defeating or weakening the Orthodox parties in Israel. The Orthodox parties tending always to go to the right and with the Likud. So they have strength, not in their own right, but in the form of the Labor Party and the other left parties.
Why do you feel that's so? Why don't they have a stronger influence? Going by their numbers in the United States, they should have.
Well, first of all, it's quite clear that that these movements are movements that arose out of particular, times and circumstances. Israel is not. These were movements that arose out of a galut, an exile-oriented thing. These were people who changed Hebrew into English and so on and so forth, who tried to water down Judaism so that they would be accepted by non-Jews. Obviously, in Israel, such thinking is actually foreign. In Israel, people are either observant Jews or they're not. In other words, they either observe Torah as is, or they don't observe it. They don't need some fraudulent thing which says, well, you don't have to observe everything. That's a fraud. And I would much rather have an honest atheist than a fraudulent temple rabbi.
Mm-hmm. So you, I guess you don't really support their struggle to be more part of the religious system.
I certainly don't. However, that doesn't mean anything. I don't back them. I think that they're a danger to Judaism. But if the conservatives want to have power in Israel, let them do the very, very simple thing. Pick themselves up, go on Aliyah, and live there. But they don't do that because the flesh pots of the island or the valley or whatever other Jewish area starts with a definite article are fleshier. So don't complain about the Orthodox are running the country because they came on Aliyah. If a non-Orthodox Jew is not happy, let him pick himself up. Go on Aliyah, vote the Orthodox out of power, and then everything will be Fine, grand and hunky-dory.
I think they claim that the non-observant Jews in Israel are conservative.
What are you talking about? First of all, there are no conservative Jews in the world. There are conservative rabbis. Give me a definition of a conservative Jew. Come on, give me a definition. What is a conservative Jew?
Well, I'm not very familiar with their teachings, but I guess they feel that they have their own brand of halacha.
Yeah, that isn't a definition of a conservative Jew. An Orthodox Jew I can define. He is someone who believes that the Jewish law is divine and given directly from God at Sinai. A Reformed Jew is defined as someone who doesn't believe that. So he goes and he plays games with himself. But what is a conservative Jew? I'll tell you what it is really in people's minds. Orthodoxy is too much. Reform is too little. I'll take the middle road. That isn't a definition. That's a practical, pragmatic concept. There is no definition of conservatism.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
And, of course, the word conservative was used in the religious sense. We're not talking political sense.
Right.
We're talking in religious terms. Right now, let's say hello to Yehudis. Hello.
Hello. I'd like to ask Rabbi Kahane a question.
Yes.
He said earlier in the show that he believed anyone born of a Jewish mother is a Jew.
Right.
And in light of that, I'd like to ask you, a person that's Jewish and who believes in Jesus,
Yes.
who believes that Jesus is God, is the only way to salvation for Jews and Gentiles, how would you feel about this person, A, living in Israel, B, being a citizen of Israel, and C, promulgating their beliefs there?
Well, certainly I would, let me make quite clear that someone born Jewish is always a Jew, period. That's it. He can be a terrible Jew, and that's what these people are,
Well,
terrible.
that's your opinion, though.
Well, madam, you asked me for my opinion. I would imagine so. I just love people that ask questions, get answers, and say, well, that's your opinion. Well, naturally, it isn't yours.
If they're terrible people, I ask you if they should be citizens.
I am going to tell you why I am going to answer you. I think they are terrible people. Not because they are terrible people per se. I said that as Jews, they are terrible Jews.
Why they're terrible people?
Look, either you let me speak.
Well, I'd like to know why. If I'm a terrible person.
Well, if you'll be quiet, I will explain to you.
Okay.
But obviously, you're an extremist. You
Like
don't
you.
let people
Obviously,
speak.
I'm a lot like you, huh?
All right, look, madam. It's now my turn, okay?
Go ahead.
Good. Now you be quiet and let me finish. Okay. A Jew cannot per se believe in Jesus. Christians can believe in Jesus. A Jew doesn't believe that Jesus was the Messiah.
Why do you say this?
Look, if you stop me one more time, I'm going to stop speaking to you. Okay? Okay. Now, because in Judaism, any man who gets up and says that he can make changes in the Torah given by Sinai is wrong. It's a fraud. Therefore, we reject Jesus or any other person who gets up and says that he is God's son or the Messiah and declares that the Torah can be changed. And he changed it.
Right.
And he did actions which were against the Torah. Therefore, while any Jew can come to Israel, including Jews for Jesus, we will certainly work very, very hard to make sure that they will not be able to convert Jews or proselytize among Jews.
All right, well, I have a question for you based on the Talmud.
No. Wait. Okay, go on. Ask the question. Go on, ask the question.
I can't be Jewish because I don't follow the whole Torah.
No. I didn't say that. And apparently, listen to me.
I did listen to you.
I said a person who is born Jewish is always a Jew. And now, is that clear?
Yes, I understand
Good.
what you said. I want an additional question on
Okay.
that.
Quickly,
In the
please.
Talmud, it says
Yes.
that the law in Messianic times will be annulled. And I could send you the passages. I believe we're living in Messianic times. When the Mashiach comes, and I believe he already has, the law will be set aside. Either you're a liar or you don't believe in the Talmud. Which one is it?
Well, quite clearly. Well, that's a great thing. The law cannot be annulled until the Messiah comes.
Yeah,
Will you let me talk? Will you let me talk? When the Messiah comes, we will see clear signs of it. The Messiah comes, there will be world peace. Since Jesus came, we have had a couple
Simple answer.
a couple of wars. When the Messiah comes, there will be peace.
Coming back to make war.
Excuse me. You know, you have a tremendous problem.
So do you.
Listen, I hate to interrupt this. I hate to interrupt it.
In any case, come over to Israel, and we'll make you Jewish again, okay?
We'll make you Jewish when you're completed in Christ.
Thank you for the call.
Rabbi, here's my question to you.
Yes, sir.
The Jews in Israel, do they classify themselves as Caucasian or what?
No. Just plain Jews. Like the Englishmen are Englishmen. French are French. Jews are Jews.
Listen, Rabbi.
Yeah, Jews are Jews.
Are there any, I know there must be some black Jews in Israel, but are there any in high politics, you know, like where you are, up in the politics?
Okay, wait. The overwhelming majority of black Jews that have come to Israel have come only within the last year and a half. The Jews arrived within about 18 to 20 months ago. They haven't had time yet to get into the system. Just like there is not one Soviet Jew who has come to Israel since 1968 that has yet reached a high office, but they will. In Israel, the Sephardic Jews for a long, long time did not rise. Now we have the former president of Israel was from Iraq, Sephardic Jew. The chief of staff of Israel is one. The speaker of the Knesset is one. Both the vice premiers are. So, no question about it. In the years to come, there will be black Jews who will be in high office.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
On Talk Radio 77, why is it every time we have somebody who is from Israel, we get that dumb question like that? What is this obsession that people have with that? Hello, Ron.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to make a comment before I'd ask Rabbi Kahane a question. I guess I'm one of these people who always watch these 2-second snippets of Rabbi Kahane screaming or being carried off. But I must tell you, I turned on the radio in the car, and I always turn it on in the middle of your program. That's when I get in my car every day. And I was listening for quite a while, and I kept saying, boy, this fella really makes sense. He really makes sense. And then I realized it was Rabbi Kahane. And naturally, I've stayed with the program.
What did he say that he made sense?
No, because he was saying everything that I...
No, give me one sentence.
Oh, the question of, let's say, the terrorism, calling it as it is.
No, tell me what he said that he really made sense.
The question of Reagan negotiating with...
You saw him comment on TV on that?
No.
He just said it here.
No.
You made a statement. I'm getting sick and tired of people making statements they can't back up.
No.
You said, every time I see him on TV, I don't know who he is, but he makes so much sense.
No, that wasn't what I said. I said they show him on the liberal newsreel, they always show him screaming and yelling. I have never seen this facet of Rabbi Kahane, and I'm very impressed with it.
Oh, you mean the facet that you see here on this program?
Yes. And
okay.
With it, and I've stayed on the phone for over a half hour because I want...
In other words, what you're seeing is the real Meir Kahane, not what TV wants you to see.
And that's what I'm trying to say, and I've listened to...
How come? Ask him how come... Have you ever been on the Phil Donahue show?
No,
and you never will. You know why you never will? Marlo Thomas doesn't like you.
Oh.
Well, that's probably the reason. Probably is. Not that Phil has any positive values either.
Oh, he doesn't like you either.
That's right.
But we all knew that.
Yes,
I didn't know if you...
for sure.
No, you'll see Jesse Jackson on there, obviously.
Of course you see
Many
Jesse
times.
Jackson.
No, but I'm saying...
I tell you, there's only one thing Phil Donahue does not like about having Jesse Jackson on the program. His knees get awfully sore. Thank you very much, Ron.
I just want to ask a question. What do you think about the high percentage of the monies that Israel is spending for the levy in proportion to the defense budget?
Well, I think that it's something which must be, because I think that once Israel can make its own fighter plane, it'll be a great thing. Now it's costing us money. In the end, it will of course save us money.
It was good talking to you, and I really learned a lot from this program. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm glad we clarified that on where he heard you make these statements, because I knew he didn't hear you make them on TV. Hello, Barbara.
Hi, gentlemen. It's a great pleasure, and Bob, I'm delighted to have you back.
Rabbi Kahane,
Yes.
there's one Jew that did not vote for Mario Cuomo.
Okay.
That's beside the point.
All right.
I have one short statement and a question. My short statement is that Nabi Berry, who still has a green card, am I correct?
Yes, he does.
Comes and goes to the United States of America, to Dearborn, Michigan, where he has 5 flourishing businesses. Nabi Berry, who is part and parcel of the hijacking of TWA Flight 747, where these thugs murdered an American sailor, Robert Stephen. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Nabi Berry, Bob, and you know this too, Nabi Berry comes and goes like a fairy godmother to take his monies and make his monies in Dearborn, Michigan. If he's still allowed to conduct himself in the United States after what he is responsible for, then there is no reasoning. Now, my question is this. Now that Shimon Peres has, served 2 years and the new prime minister will serve his 2 years, will there be a difference? How will the government shift? And will there be a great difference in the policy of the government of the state of Israel, which I love?
No, because this is a government which was formed by 2 different parties, and they are bound by ground rules, an agreement which they both signed, and there's very, very little chance for them to change or deviate or so on. My great hope is that this government will not last out. It's approximately another 23 months. I would certainly hope not. I want an election badly because we're going to win big.
You mean your party, the
Yes.
Koch party?
Oh, yes.
You were quoted as having predicted a pickup of 9 more seats, a total of 10, including yours.
Mm-hmm.
You stick with that?
Oh, yes. I think that, and I say this with a heavy, heavy heart. Every attack upon Jews in Israel and every murder of a Jew gives me votes, and I'm not happy about that. Far from it. But it's an unfortunate fact, and the worst part about it is that it can only grow.
What about the fact that immigration actually caught up with and in 1 year recently surpassed immigration in Israel?
I think it's even worse. I don't think that the figures you see are really accurate. I sit on the Knesset committee on Aliyah. Over the last 10 years, there has been almost as much. The figures have shown that almost as many Jews have left Israel as have come to Israel, and that's over the past decade. I think that there's a certain sense of insecurity today in Israel. Israel does not give off the aura of strength and toughness that it once did. Economic problems in Israel. And in general, the young people of Israel are not what the young people of Israel were 15, 20 years ago. A bit of the Western disease is beginning to strike home there, and that's got to be changed because we can't beat the Arabs with greater weapons or with more manpower. Our strength lies in the spirit, the feeling that we can win and we should win, and no matter how difficult things are, this is our country, and if we don't feel that, then you're going to see many young Jews leaving, and that's a tragedy.
Those Jews who have left and came here after the 1973 Yom Kippur War were called by Yitzhak Rabin Nemeshot, the lowest of the low. Do you agree with Yitzhak Rabin?
No, of course, I'm upset by it. I mean, I would, it bothers me, but they're not bad people. They're, weak people. It's a question of, weakness.
But here you are. You're talking about demographic concern.
Yes.
All you're doing is extrapolating numbers.
Yes.
People accuse you of a lot of devious things, but you're not devious. You're just taking the numbers and extrapolating them.
Exactly.
Talking about birth rates versus other birth rates. And you're going to see an Arab majority in Israel in what? The year 2002, 120,000 Jews, according to UJA late statistics. 120,000 Jews. Not a one of them apparently seeking to make Aliyah.
Well, a few hundred did, but the overwhelming majority are going Australia, Canada, America, England.
Every place but Israel.
Right. Well, the fact of the matter is, again, I think that there are several reasons for it, and most of them lie at the heart of human nature. It's a tough country. It's a dangerous country. Economic problems, military problems, and a lack of that idealism and Zionism, there is no Zionism if you take away from it Judaism. In the end, it's Judaism that tells the Jew, I know it's hard there, I know it's over there, but that's my calling. And if you don't have that, then you end up in Australia.
Very complex issue. I know I visited a place called Klar Blum one time. And the man who was giving us the tour and telling about the founding of the kibbutz, something like 1911, extolled the socialist Zionists, who were a-religious people.
Yes.
At best, they were a-religious, in all likelihood.
Anti-religious.
Yeah.
Definitely so.
And after the lecture that we got, we all came away thinking that the religious Jews benefited from the sacrifice of the non-religious Jews.
My great-grandfather lived in Safed, or came up from the exile and went to Safed in 1873 before there was a Jewish agency.
That's the Kabbalah?
Right, in the north. And the overwhelming majority of Jews who were living in what was then Palestine before the secular Zionists came, overwhelming majority, Orthodox Jews. I certainly don't want to take away anything from the leftist Jews that came up in 1880, 1890, 1900, and 1910. The question is, however, where are their grandchildren? And it's their grandchildren who were raised in the kibbutz with its socialist and anti-religious and anti-Jewish things that are now leaving. 50% of the youth of those communes are leaving the communes, and 15% are leaving the country, the highest rate of any particular area within Israel. And that says a great deal for it. Without Judaism, there's not going to be the commitment to suffer and to run the risks.
One more call for Rabbi Meir Kahane from Joyce. Hello, Joyce.
Yes, I waited over an hour and a half. I hope you'll let me say what I want to say. First, I want to say this. Thank God for the ANC. I hope they live on for another 176 years. At least they will let my brothers and sisters in South Africa know that the Nazis down there will not be able to put them into crematories or the showers. Now,
nobody has gone to a crematorium or to showers. Matter of fact, the only burning being done is being done by Winnie Mandela with her necklace.
Would you please let me speak? Because
Yeah, you can speak, but I can also respond to out-and-out lies, distortions, and falsehoods.
I will listen to you after I speak. I will listen to you. Secondly, I want to ask this question. I have always heard that Israel was a democracy, or is a democracy. However, there's a group of black Americans that left Chicago and went to Israel and established some...
yeah, they went to Dimona.
Down there, all right. Why is it then that the government of Israel wants to deport these people? I haven't read anywhere where they have committed a crime. That they have done any harm there. They have built up a community for themselves there. So why is it?
Okay, is that the question?
No, the other statement I want to make.
Oh, you have another statement yet.
You stated that in Africa there are no whites heading up the government. I do know that in Kenya you have whites in that government. In Zimbabwe you have it. And in Namibia they are running Namibia as well as in South Africa they are there. And I think that it is time, whether you like it or not, that it is time for the black man to run his own country. The other statement is that you said that Jews should be ashamed of this, or they're not Jews. They're bad people if they believe in Jesus. However, how is it that the Jewish teachers here in the UFT, when Christmas, which is a Christian holiday, they make it their business to take off that darling Christmas, that Christian holiday, and for Easter they can't wait to get out of the school for the same thing. How come? How is that? Could you explain that to me, please?
She's giving you a lot of territory there.
A lot of territory.
I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, hang up. No. Okay, now just listen carefully. First of all, about the black Hebrews in Israel. These thugs in Chicago, who, of course, as you said, came out of that windy city. We knew them back in 1968 at JDL. They used to beat up elderly Jews on the west side, shook down merchants, and many a time did we have physical battles with them. They came and they said that they are the original Jews, the real Jews, and the Jews of Israel aren't. You think that any normal country is going to allow strangers to walk in, hold press conferences, boasting about how they're going to toss out the Jews and let them stay? The incredible thing is that insane government has let them stay since 1968. Now, one other point: on their way to Israel, they didn't go from this country to Israel. They went to an African country, and in Liberia, where they arrived, they were thrown out of the country by the Liberians, who have more brains and more sense than Shimon Peres has. When I take power, there will be no problem. We will put them on the first planes out of the country and back to Mayor Daley's area. As far as the UFT teachers don't teach in the schools on Christmas because the schools are closed on Christmas. That's a pretty good reason why UFT teachers don't teach. As far as the ANC and Africa and so on, I'm not going to get into a debate with you because here is one man that has no guilt feelings. Zimbabwe, which was the same kind of country as South Africa, it gained its freedom. And the only reason why there are whites in government at all is because the original agreement made was that 20% would be white. Without that, there wouldn't be a single white man left. And I would venture to say that when the present party, which is in power, will become the only party in another year, you'll see whites out of government.
My time is up. Thank you very much, Rabbi Meir Kahane.